Hello, welcome to a quick update video. I'm hoping quick, for the Rock Sculptor, the NS Rock Sculptor, which I'm now taking up to version 1.1, and I'm going to reflect that in the shader editor. I've made a few changes. Some of them, the displacement specifically, is going to require a little bit of going through, but it's just add loads of cool functionality. But I'll just run through the changes in order. So there's 8 new presets, so you've got up to 40 now, and all of these are using a slightly older version of this, the NS Rock Sculptor shader. This is now NS Rock Sculptor version 1.1. These are all using the original, which is fine because they're built specifically for those. But if you want the latest version, because this UI now uses the latest shader, so if you use an older if you use one of the presets, it won't have certain functionality in here, but the blend file you download, it's all in there in that NS Rock Sculptor. So yeah, you've got 8 new presets. Next addition is in color. You've now got roughness 1, which is just an all over roughness color, and then roughness 2. And this slider here, roughness 1 and 2, goes between the two. So to explain, roughness 1 is just all over roughness. The whole thing is rough. I'm just going to turn bump off so you can clearly see that. Okay, so now we've got a very reflective rock, because I've put black in roughness 1. Roughness 2 is based on the displacement, which you can now see down here. This is for baking, texture baking. If you want to bake your maps, you've got all the bits and bobs here to go through. But roughness 2, which is here, I'll change that to roughness 2. If you control shift click, assuming you've got Node Wrangler, it shows what the displacement's doing. So it's based on the displacement. And if you want to change this, it's a color ramp, obviously. So in color ramps, under this, you've now got roughness, roughness 2. So now I can, if we go back to normal, but yeah, if you control shift click anything, just click main out, control shift click main out. So we're on roughness 1, which is the all over one, which is that one. If I go over to roughness 2, it's now going to affect the displacement. So if I bring that all the way down, some areas are now incredibly reflective, some not so much. So as I say, that's following this. So these black areas are going to be very reflective. The white areas not reflective at all. And all the control for that is here. If you change the color of this, or the shade, sorry, then, you see how that works. So that's how you edit the roughness 2 in your color ramps to get exactly what you want. And that, as I say, that will follow whatever displacement, apart from, it won't follow the displace modifier, just the material displacement. Okay. And I actually just want to maybe not have so much roughness, smoothness there. Let me just bring that up a bit. There we go. All right. That's roughness 1 and 2 and the new color ramp. Now displacement is going to take a little bit more explaining. I've basically added 2 more displacements, and they can all mix together, similar to the Infinite Rock Builder, one of my other shaders. It's the same functionality, as in they're in a chain and you can change their blend modes, and I shall show you. For this, I'm just going to turn off the displace modifier. So the only displacement we've got now is material displacement. And there is also a mask, which we'll get to as well. So at the moment, it's just nothing. Yeah, 3's mixed in. So displacement 1 is that, which is that kind of cracky thing. And that's controlled by the displacement mask, which again, that is also in color ramps. So if you go to color ramps, displacement, mask, color ramp. So it's only showing a little bit because there we go. So if I just show a bit more of that. Okay, so that's displacement 1. Now I can, if I just change that to mix, I can now mix in displacement 2 and change it for that, which is clearly based on a Voronoi texture. And again, each filter is in the filters. So you've got displacement, displacement 2, displacement 3. So if we have a displacement 2 and put that up at 5, you can clearly see the Voronoi. And yeah, so you can add the filters in there. And as usual, displacement 2 color ramp, displacement 3 color ramp. Everything is in there. So now that I've got displacement 2 mixed in, this here, if I, yeah, disp 1 2 blend mode. So I can change how this is. At the moment it's on mix, so it's just completely covering displacement 1. So if I change that to subtract, though it's slightly difficult to see, it's subtracting. In fact, let's see if there's an easier way to make it more visible. Let's try add. It's less visible, but what it's doing, it's adding. Well, no, that's a good one. It's just mixing the two over each other using this. If I go to mix, if I add displacement 3, that if I set that to mix, so this is just like a bubbly, and now I can mix that as well. So I'm using all 3, and then let's put add on that. You see, so that's 3 different displacements running together. And you can, you can add the displace modifier, but obviously you go too far with displacement, you start to get crazy artifacts. So you've got to be a bit careful. But that's mixing all 3 using their blend modes and their mix sliders. And of course you can slide in or out. The next thing to discuss, which will be the last thing to discuss, is the displacement mask. When you're using a texture, a displace modifier, you can set obviously a vertex group, so you can weight paint and point exactly where you want that displacement to happen. But with the material displacement, which all this is, there was no way to do that unless it texture paints it, which I've added. So displacement mask 1 is just it's that noise filter, which is in here. You can edit. Displacement mask 2 is custom. So if I go to edit mode, once you've made a rock, what you want to do is select it all, U, and I found that Smart UV Project does the job fine. Q doesn't seem to work so well, but Smart UV Project, Bush. And then if you go into texture paint, I didn't, I need a new one. So custom mask, click on that. Click it. There we go. Come on. Right, something's gone wrong here. What's going on here? Right, sorry. That's not been a problem before, but I just clicked on the texture that's in the shader editor and then loaded up custom mask. And now we have this mess of a mask. So if I fill this completely in white and allow everything through, if I then X, draw a wedge, it's not, I don't want it at the top. Obviously I'm messing around here, but you'll get the gist. And also, if you are making your custom mask, don't forget to save all images. And then if we go back over to here and we go from displacement mask 1 to displacement mask 2, it's going to use that color ramp. Obviously that's absolutely terrible. You wouldn't be doing it like that. But that's just the intention, to show you that you can literally tell where on the boulder or rock where you want the displacement. Obviously you're going to use a smooth brush and you're going to smooth all this, but that's, as I say, just to show you how that functions. So yeah, click on this one and then load up custom mask to make sure you've got the right one. And I think that's everything I've added that needed a bit of explaining. Yeah, so this is just for baking. So if you need to bake all this out and to make it a FBX or something and take it into other software or Unreal or whatever, then you would want to bake your maps here. All right, that's everything. That's good to go. That's the NS Rock Sculptor version 1.1. I hope you're enjoying it, and I hope you enjoy this even more now. There's quite a fair bit more functionality. All right, I've been Nick, you've been you. Bye.